Hello again. I hope everything's going okay with the videos. Please, throughout this process, reach out if you have any questions or if you'd like a one-on-one session. I will be posting opportunities so you know when I'm available, but you can also request that at any time. So the second half of what is due for our skills check is page 91 in your book. So this is just a little exercise to continue working on your coordination playing hands together. So when I look at page 91, I want to kind of go through my mental checklist that I always do. I want to think about, okay, where do my hands go? Do I need to use any black keys? Are there any sharps or flats? What's the rhythm? How many beats in a measure? So I'm going to kind of step you through each of those. So just scanning through visually, I don't see any sharps or flats. So there's that. So I know it's going to be all white keys. At the beginning of the music, I see right next to the treble and bass clef, you see the 4 and the 4. That tells us that we're going to have 4 beats in a measure and that a quarter note gets 1 beat. Remember that a quarter note is a filled in head with a stem. So going all the way through, I don't see any eighth notes. It's all quarters and half notes. So I'm actually going to go ahead and clap all the way through this rhythm. You're welcome to do it with me at home or just follow along and listen. Okay, so I'll count one measure, 1, 2, 3, 4 before I start so we know the speed. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you might notice on the half notes and the whole notes, I'm moving my hand. That gives me something to do while I'm holding, and it helps me kind of physicalize the process. So when I'm counting to 4, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4 to show that I'm holding the note, but time is happening. That's just something that I do to help myself. Okay. So now if I try to find my hand position, we know that we can find our hand position by naming the first notes and matching the finger numbers. So let's look at, I always start with treble clef, so let's start with bass clef. So bass clef is the one that your left hand plays, and we remember that the trick for the spaces is all cows eat grass. So I noticed that that first left-hand note lives on that second space, all cows. That's a C. So my left-hand 5 or my pinky is going to go on C. So my first instinct is, oh, this is C position, and it actually is. Now just to confirm the right hand, remember the trick for the treble clef? The spaces spell the word face, F-A-C-E. So I see that the first right-hand note is on the third space, F-A-C. So the right hand 1 or thumb starts on C. Now it's important to note that right hand C is not middle C. Middle C lives on an island all by itself below the treble clef. This is at the top of the treble clef. So your hands are going to be 2 octaves apart. Now, if you have a small keyboard at home, please don't worry. Just put your hands where they will fit. This is, we all need to be flexible. So if you have enough space, your hands should be there should be an extra C in the middle between your hands. But just do what you need to do. I'm not going to take off if you have to go closer. Just know that. Okay, so I found my position, and I might write C position, just so that you know. Now going through, I notice that the treble and bass clef are moving in parallel motion. They're moving up at the same time, moving down at the same time. So my first instinct is to say, they're playing the same note names at the same time. I'm just gonna check that hunch. So I notice C and C, then they each go up one, D and D, E and E, F and F, E and E. Okay, all the way through, you're playing the same letter name at the same time. But because our hands are mirror images of each other, when my left hand pinky plays C, my right hand thumb plays C. So it's tempting, and I know a lot of you have worked through this from the beginning of the semester, to think that like fingers always match, but that's not the case. So make sure you're matching the letter name, not the finger number. Okay, so I'm scanning through, and maybe the next thing I'll do is see if there are any skips. Now, if we were in class, I'd say, what does a skip look like? And hopefully someone would say line to line or space to space. So I'm scanning through. I don't see any. This is all stepwise motion. Lucky you. Stepwise motion means we're always just going to be going one key to the very next in this particular song. Okay, so we've thought of the rhythm. We named our first notes. We found our hand position. We scanned for the shape and the potential difficulties. And then what I would do is I'd say, okay, the music, each group of 3 measures has one of those curvy arch lines over it. We call that a slur. And remember, a slur means to play smooth. So instead of, we're going to connect the notes, but it also tells us where the phrases are. Now, a phrase in music is like a sentence. It's one thought. And if you think about when we're speaking, typically at the end of a sentence, we'll either have a slight pause or a breath. So in music, that's a really natural spot to kind of excerpt and just practice that. So instead of just, you might just try playing through this whole thing and maybe you'll get it on the first try. But if that's too much, you can notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4 phrases, and you can break up your practice. So I might say, okay, right now I'm going to focus on the first phrase, which is measure 1, 2, and 3. And I'm just going to go for it, starting on C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. So that's what the first phrase sounds like. And if you missed something, you might say, oh, okay, I need to make sure to go down to E, or oh, let me circle this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play through this whole example, and then that way you can stop, start, rewind. You can play with me in your practice as much as you want. So I'm going to go ahead and play through the whole thing, and this is about the speed that I'm expecting you to do. Give or take. It's okay if it's a little slower or faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. One thing to notice about this as well is phrase 1 starts on C. Phrase 2, which is measure 4, starts on D. Phrase 3, which is on the second line, starts on E. So each of the phrases starts one note higher, and then the last phrase starts on E again. So feel free to rewind, play with, but remember not to skip steps that you need. Name the notes, practice slowly, break it up. So just as a recap, stuff that's due on Monday by the end of our class time. So I think I put by 2 p.m. on Canvas on Monday. I'll double check that. What I need you to do is record this song, page 91, and then go forward to what we did Monday, the chords, page 144 and 145. So you're going to go through, and with either hand, you're going to play each of the chords for me. So you'll say C major, F major. You go through either hand, I don't mind. Okay? Then you go to page 148 at the bottom, the last 2 lines on the bottom, and you play each of those chords, remembering that they're the same as page 144, it's just a different way of looking at it. So here, if your keyboard allows, play both hands. If it doesn't allow, just do one. So C, D flat, you go all the way through. Now another thing I included on Canvas were some extra credit opportunities. One fun thing that you might enjoy is if you go to page 123 and 125, this is just a little kind of jumping off point of how to start, some ideas on how to write your own melodies. So they just show you kind of how melodies are typically constructed and some ideas. So that would just be for fun. You're welcome to record and send if you do it. And then the other thing is you can always go to the Files section on Canvas and open up the extra credit folder and work on something in there. So please plan ahead with recording. I know when I went to upload Monday's videos, it literally took me 2 hours because I'm horrible at it, and I had to really troubleshoot. It took way longer than I thought. Now you may be a lot better at this than I am, but just know that, I know technology is difficult. So, maybe aim for Sunday night to upload it. If you're going to do it Monday, try to think ahead. You might play around with, you can do separate takes. You can do like one video for page 191, one video for the next, that's fine. Or you can do it all in the same. I'm really not picky about how you send it. You can do email. There's an option on the assignment to upload through Canvas. You can do inbox, whatever works. So I'm willing to be really flexible with how you do it and what you give me. I just want to make sure we stay on track. Please be in contact if you're having problems. I might be able to help you, haha. No, I'll do my best. But please let me know if you have questions. Other than that, happy practicing, and there will be more videos next week. All right, stay safe and healthy.